Hi, I'm Jennifer of Celtic Knot Crochet, and today in this video I'm going to show you how to make this summer petals shawl. It is an intermediate pattern and it uses one of these 1,000 yard cake cotton skeins. So it's like all the popular cake yarns, but it's actually very fine yarn, and it's all cotton. You'll see a link to where you can purchase these in the description below, and all you need is one of these skeins to make this shawl. You'll see that it's made up of a lot of the same type of stitches, so that means that once you get to about row 5, it is a 1 row repeat. So you just keep doing the same thing every row, and it gradually grows into this shape that you can see here in the video, and you'll have no problem making it because I give you step-by-step instructions on how to make all the different stitches, and once you get the hang of it, you just do them over and over, and the beauty of the yarn shines through. The yarn does all the color changing for you, so it's lots of fun. Let's get started. So this shawl actually has a 1 row repeat once you get to row 5. So if you look, we have to set the shawl up because there are 4 sections to this shawl. So we have to set them up for the first row here. You can see those 4 spaces right here. We're going to set up for 4 sections. We're going to grow it small with 1 cluster each section, and then very quickly we're going to create the double treble cluster V stitch, which is this right here, all these triangles, and then we just keep adding those, and that is what grows the shawl as we go. So you can see here is 1 of the V stitches, then the next row in the next section would have 2, and then 3, and then 4, and so on. So you're going to increase every row in each section. So there'll be 4 increases every row, and that makes the shawl grow really wide, really fast. So let's get started on the beginning. I'm going to show you with some larger yarn for now. So you're going to chain 8, and then you're going to do a treble crochet in the 8th chain from the hook. So that's the very first one we made right here. Treble crochet is yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, whoopsie, and then yarn over, pull through 2. Now you're going to chain 3, and you're going to do another treble crochet in that same chain. We're going to do it again, chain 3, and we're going to do it one more time. So there you can see. So now we have the 4 spaces we need to create the 4 sections of the shawl. Now this shawl we work back and forth. So we're going to chain 8 again. Okay, we turn, and now we're going to work right, there are 3 chains here, we're going to work right in the center chain, right here, and we're going to do a double treble cluster. So that is yarn over 3 times. Put your hook into that center chain. It's the second chain of the chain 3. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we have 5 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And we leave these last 2 loops on the hook, and we do yarn over 3 times again, hook into the same chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we have 6 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to do that one more time. Yarn over 3 times, hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we have 7 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. Now we have 4. Yarn over, pull through all 4 like that. And that creates the double treble cluster that you're going to be doing a lot of in this shawl. Next, you're going to chain 3. And see this treble right here? We're going to do a double treble, which is 3 yarn overs, right into that stitch. This is setting up the division between each of the sections. So we have the outer edging, the cluster, and then one of the divisions. And now we're going to do the same thing again, chain 3, and we're going to do another cluster right here, and then another double treble there. So we're going to repeat what we already did once. Yarn over 3 times, hook into that center chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 5 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, leave those 2 there, yarn over 3 times, hook into the same chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, and then one more time, yarn over 3 times, hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. Now I have 4 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 4, and there's another cluster. But I'm going to chain 3, and then I'm going to do a double treble, which is 3 yarn overs into this treble that's sitting there from the row below. You can see it starting to set up the pattern for our 4 sections of the shawl. So I'll continue that, and then when I get to the end, I'm going to do the double treble in one of the chains over here. Okay, so now I have completed the second row, and you can see that I have this beginning chain, then a cluster, double treble cluster, double treble cluster, double treble cluster, and then a double treble here in the 5th chain of that starting chain 8, I think it was. So now I'm going to continue to increase. I'm going to do a beginning double treble V-stitch. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the beginning double treble V-stitch is I chain 8, and then I'm going to do a double treble right here in this same stitch. And now I'm going to do the double treble cluster V-stitch. It's a mouthful. I'm going to do 2 chains right here to give a little more space. And I'm going to yarn over 3 times, put my hook there in the top of the cluster, yarn over, pull up a loop, 5 loops on my hook, and I'm going to do the double treble cluster that we did earlier. The double treble clusters have 3 legs of the stitch. So there are my partial double trebles, and there's 3 of them, and I left the last loop on the hook at the end of each one, and then I yarn over and pull through the 4 loops left. So that gives me a cluster just like what you see below it. But now we're going to add a sideways piece. So we're going to chain 5 or 6, depending on how tightly you do your chains. Yarn over 3 times, and now I like to work in these first 3 loops here. So it's the loop coming from the chain and the top loops of the first 2 legs of the cluster. Yarn over, pull through, and now I do it just like the other ones. 5 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, and I need to make 1 more leg, so I yarn over 3 times again, hook through those same loops on the front. Now I have 6 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3. So now I'm going to work in the same place where I put the first cluster to create the V. So this one's going to go sideways, and I have to create 1 more cluster coming down here. So that's just like the first one, a regular double treble cluster. So yarn over 3 times and make 3 legs of the stitch, but leave the last loop on the hook. And then yarn over, pull through all 4. Now you can see there's the V stitch with the cluster coming across the middle. Then I'm going to chain 2, and here I am at that double treble in the middle. Now this is going to become a double treble V stitch. So it's a tall, skinny V stitch. So I do a double treble, chain 3, and then do another double treble in the same stitch. By putting those chains there on top, it makes the top wider than the bottom, and that creates that V look. Then I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to repeat all of that again. So I would work this double treble cluster, a sideways double treble cluster, and then another double treble cluster to create another thick V stitch. Then I would create a tall and skinny V stitch, and I would continue that across the row that we already made. So once you have your pattern established with the yarn that the pattern calls for, this is what it would look like. So I'm going to show you the beginning of the row and what you would do at the beginning of each of the 4 sections, and then I'll show you how to do the end of each section. So the very beginning of the row, once you've turned your project over and you're looking at the wrong side, you're going to slip stitch into that very first V stitch here, and then chain 8, nice long skinny chain, and then you're going to do a double treble. So that's 3 yarn overs. You put your hook in, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, through 2 for a total of 4 times, and this makes a tall skinny V stitch right on the edge. And now we're going to add a double treble cluster V stitch right here into this first cluster that you see from the row before. And by putting a V stitch right here, it will expand the row and make the project larger. And we're going to do that at the beginning and the end of each section. So we do that by yarning over 3 times, putting our hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, just 3 times. We leave these last loops on the hook and we yarn over 3 times again. And now we're going to do what's called another leg. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we have 6 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. Now we have 3 loops, and we have one more leg to do of the cluster. Yarn over 3 times, hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop. 7 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. 4 loops on our hook, and now we close it up to create that nice point on top and to finish our cluster. And as you see, if you look carefully at the pattern, every cluster has 3 legs or 3 stitches. So now we have to do the part that goes across like this. So we're going to chain 6, and then we're going to do another double treble, so that means we have to yarn over 3 times, and we're going to work in these 3 loops that are right at the front of the treble cluster. Yarn over, pull up a loop, then yarn over, pull through 1, 2, 3. So here's 2 legs. Our chain 6 counts as 1 leg. The double treble we just made counts as the second leg, and now we have to make our 3rd leg. 3 yarn overs, go back under those front 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. Now I have 3 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through all 3, and now I've finished that sideways cluster. So it looks very similar to the clusters here, but it's going to sit sideways, and that creates that crossbar of the V-stitch. And now we want to go back into where we started. We're going to yarn over 3 times again, put our hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, 5 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, and pause. Yarn over 3 times, put our hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, and do that one more time. Yarn over 3 times, hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now we should have 7 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through all 4 to close up the cluster. And there we have the double treble V-stitch. You can see here. And I would just continue with these V-stitches, working in the top section here of the cluster you see on the left. So you have a V-stitch here and a V-stitch here, and it's this stitch right there. You can see there's 1, 2, 3 possible places to work, and I like to choose this first one. If you look from here, you can kind of see it's already opening. So I would work right in there. And I'm going to work in that all the way across until I get to the end of this section. So I know it's the end of the section when I have those tall, skinny V-stitches, simple V-stitches right here. So that means that when I get to here, I'll work a V-stitch here, and I'll do one more at the back end of this V-stitch, and that will create the increase to give me the shawl shape. And you just repeat that throughout. So I'll show you how to work in that last V-stitch of the section. And because we are stacking V-stitch upon V-stitch, it gives the look of this flower shape in the center. But you can see that if you look closely, it's 3 triangles created by the V-stitches. But it's kind of an illusion because we work a lot of them right into there. Looks like the center of a flower. So then for the last one of the section, I'm going to go in right in here and make another V-stitch and work right into that last loop there. So there's 3 legs of the cluster. Yarn over, pull through everything. Now we have to do the side cluster. And then we're going to find those 3 front loops. Yarn over, pull through 2 3 times. Yarn over 3 times again. And then do the cluster again, back in that same spot we did the first cluster of this V-stitch. Now when you get to the end of the section, after you've completed that last double treble cluster V-stitch, it's a mouthful, you're going to chain 2, then you're going to do another double treble, which is yarn over 3 times, and I'm going to put my hook into this last regular V-stitch and make 1 tall double treble. Then I'm going to chain 3 for the center of this V, and then yarn over 3 times and do 1 last double treble in that V-stitch you can see. And that completes not only the section, but this row of the shawl. You can see the darker blue has started, and here is the beginning of the section. So for the last row of this shawl, you will do an edging that is very similar to the double treble cluster V-stitches that you've done for the entire shawl. You'll see it right here. Now what I noticed is when I got to the place where I was ready to do this edging, I still had some of this yarn left on the ball, as you can see. But I wanted the edging to be in the nice dark blue to finish it off. So all you need to do is, if that happens to you, just wind off all the color that you don't want anymore. So there was just a small amount. There wasn't enough to do the whole row. And I wound it away from the dark blue, set that aside, and then I just started the edging row with this color. And in the directions you'll see, you just start with a slip stitch, and you're going to do a beginning treble cluster, you're going to do a chain 6 loop, and then you're going to do another beginning cluster coming down this way. And you'll just repeat that all the way across. So let me show you how to do those. So just as we did with all of the V-stitches, we're going to work in this first cluster, or the left-hand cluster of the V-stitch. As you can see, I went in that one before. You're going to chain 5. And now I'm going to work right in that same stitch, yarn over 3 times, put my hook in, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now I have 5 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, leave the last 2 on the hook because I'm making a cluster, yarn over 3 times again, go into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now I have 6 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2. Now I have 3 left, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's the beginning double treble cluster. Now I'm going to chain 6, and then I'm going to slip stitch right at the base. And I like to go through these 2 loops here by the first chain 5 and the second double treble. Actually the first double treble, but the second leg of the cluster. And slip stitch that loop closed. Then I'm going to do another one of these beginning double treble clusters, but you'll see it's going to be pointing down. So I'm going to yarn over 3 times after chaining 5. Now I'm going to work in these loops right here, right on the front. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You can see now I have 5 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, leave the last 2 on, yarn over 3 times again, put my hook in the same place, yarn over, pull up a loop. Now I have 6 loops on my hook, yarn over, pull through 2, through 2, through 2, 3 loops left, yarn over, pull through all 3. That gathers it up into a nice point to complete the cluster. And now I'm going to work in the next cluster, the next left side of the V-stitch. I'm just going to do a slip stitch. So you can see all these are worked in the left side of the V-stitch just like we did for the whole shawl. And now we're going to work one more here. We're going to do the cluster, the chain 6, and then we're going to end it here, since that is the last part of the row hanging out. So we're going to chain 5. You can chain 6 if your chains are really tight. Now another cluster, 3 yarn overs, insert in the loops in the front, yarn over 3 times again, and then yarn over, pull through all 3. And now for my last one, this is my last double treble V-stitch. Going to do a slip stitch right in there, and there you can see that it's like an upside down V-stitch now with the chain 6 picot right there. Yarn over, pull through, and I'm ready to block my shawl.
So I hope you enjoyed making this summer petal shawl. I hope you enjoyed how once you got the hang of the stitch, it went quickly and you liked the results. Please send me a photo of your finished project. My email's in the description below. And don't forget to click on subscribe and make sure you watch the next video.